Oh, it
Ah,
worked that
yay.
time. We're good.
Okay. All
It
right.
is
Just
the 24th of September 2020. This is WIKISPEED Standup. Are you ready to go, Lauren, or do you have to open something up?
I am ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. That's Lawrence Salter, Gabriel Island, British Columbia, Canada. And the past week, can't recall anything that I did. Didn't get to it. Coming week then is going to be just what I was thinking of last time. And
Blocks, I think.
yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to get back to the meeting. Yeah, so X that out. Okay. And you should. Were you seeing me during that time?
Nope,
Because I,
you weren't. The video
yeah.
wasn't up.
Okay. So yeah, so the coming week would be I want to do the paperwork for the charitable status if I can. It would be nice if Joe. Apparently, did you get the message? The impression that the um, service mark, which has a 6 month grace period, got done. I think I saw somewhere that he got the service mark renewed.
Yeah, I think he did, but
Yeah.
no charitable status thing, right?
What's that?
He didn't get the charitable status done, I don't believe.
No. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's the priority. And um, blocks are, to be quite honest, it is the second wave more than I thought it would be because it's impacting people I'm doing stuff with. So that's it for me for that. Your sound's shot. Your sound's gone.
Is that better? Hello, Lauren. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Carry on.
Okay. So I turned the video off because I apparently can't do video and audio at the same time. So I posted the recording of stand up last week. I ordered two new ESP32s, which weren't nearly as cheap as I thought they were going to be because I know I was getting without a header and without a cable and stuff, and it turns out that only dropped about $10 off the price. But in order to get two of them to communicate together, I ordered two of them, and I ordered a new distance sensor, which everybody ships them direct from China, so I'm not going to get that till middle of October, unfortunately. I did some research on the Bluetooth repeater. Bluetooth is actually seems to be a network, and you can do the whole 7-layer network protocol with it. So it's sort of like doing Ethernet between nodes,
Wow.
and it
Wow.
says that it'll do the Bluetooth mesh as well as acting like a Bluetooth keyboard at the same time. So I really have to try that. Well, I'll try that when they get here. I didn't get anything programmed because I only have one of them. I didn't finish loading the Sunfounder software because I didn't get to it, and I didn't work on my minimum viable product for the mobile battery inverter thing. So I guess that's it for me. Oh, I did work on the level sensor enclosure. It's basically going to be two chunks of wood with a little bit of routering to get the boards to fit kind of inside a 2x4, and bury some or epoxy some screw or nuts, I guess, to the top, side, and front, so that you can use 1.5 inch on center, 1/4 inch bolts to mount it any way you like. So I guess that's going to be next week, because I haven't got it done this week. And a little bit of video editing, hopefully. And I guess that's about it. And blocks, it's still not, there's still no snow on the ground, so I am still trying to get fall stuff done, blowout sprinklers and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know how much work I'm going to get done this next week, but we'll try. Back to you.
Okay. So I'm going to say 2 for me and 9 for the team, and process improvement, survive. So that's it for me, and I do have some public crosstalk at the end.
Okay. I am gonna give myself, so I estimated that I would get 4 done. I got 1, so that's 2.5. Plus I showed up for stand-up, so I guess that's 3.5 out of 10. You're still getting stuff done, so I think we're gonna go with a 7 for the team. And process improvement, surviving, I think is probably a good one. I think I'll agree with you on that one. We haven't seen much side effects from the second wave, although we hear some rumblings about schools possibly closing if things get much worse. But we haven't had actually any schools close yet, at least that I'm aware of.
Right.
That should be it for stand-up. What would you like to talk about in Crosstalk?
Yeah. So first of all, regarding that, I think we're remote, but you're more remote there, I think, in a way. And like, it just, people don't, our disadvantage is that tourists really like it here, and they will come regardless. They'll really do anything to come here. So that's the disadvantage. So that kind of negates the remoteness a little bit. I recall I was in Saskatchewan, and I worked for the health department for the last half of the 80s decade. I was there for the 80s decade, and during that time, Saskatchewan was one of the last places to have an HIV case. I was doing the reports on morbidity and stuff for the World Health Organization, and we were 0 when everybody else had lots.
Yeah, unfortunately, that changed.
Right. Yeah, you were telling me.
Mm-hmm. So we are actually having trouble with the airport. One of the guys that works with me with the fire department works at the airport. He's been there for 15 years, and
Right.
He's expecting to get laid off. So
Right.
they're up to the 15-year guys in the layoffs. That's pretty deep. So I don't
Right.
know. Like there's not very many flights, obviously, every day, and obviously they're not making money. So
Yeah.
I guess sooner or later they got to stem the red ink. But
Yeah.
if you've been in a place for 15 years, like that's not normal this time or this day and age, right? So if you're getting rid of 15-year guys, that's pretty serious.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. 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 Oh, I see. I see that they're working their way through, and this guy had 15 years. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people they have with more than 15 years. They must be down to like 2 or 3 dozen people, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I once flew from Saskatoon Airport to Ottawa, and I think I was either the only passenger or one of two passengers.
Oh goodness.
And
You have more staff
they
on the plane than
they
paying.
yes, there was very much, and they cut the route a little while after that. So
Yeah.
that's that was it was lovely because I at that time since then I've flown a lot, but at that time I was sort of a nervous flyer, but I had zero nervousness. So at that point I started realizing that you pick up the nervousness from all the new flyers on the plane.
Oh, I see.
You get a vibe or something.
So, what do you want to talk about?
The batteries. You're the battery guy.
Okay.
Elon Musk battery. And this was so annoying. They had a guy on the news here who was the Vancouver Tesla Owners Association. And all he did was boost it and say how visionary and wonderful. He didn't say anything technical about the battery announcement. Either he didn't know or he assumed that the listeners wouldn't understand or so. I don't know. Anyways, did you follow the announcement and what how significant is it?
I listened to pretty much the whole thing. Um, and it's not doesn't surprise me that he lost a lot of people because the announcements were coming pretty rapid fire. So the size of the battery and making it structural to me are the big ones. So instead of just having
Making it what?
structural, so
It's going to be like part of the
of the
car. It's
frame.
going to be in the frame. Cool. That's brilliant.
So with the plate underneath, and then
Yeah.
the adhesive that they have that keeps the batteries in place, and the plate on top, it's essentially a beam. And then they've got room in between for the coolant to go through to keep the batteries cool. So
Oh.
it's like five times the battery just because they're not leaving all those spaces in between the batteries. So for the same volume, they get five times the juice. And it's the battery pack actually subtracts some weight from the frame. So what they used to use for the frame to bolt the battery to,
Right.
that gets completely replaced by the battery, and they have some extra weight that they also take off. So,
Interesting. That's just love. I love it. It's so
so
cool.
that, and I mean they're using silicone inside the batteries. That's a little bit more down the road. They got some stuff to work out for that. But I expect that when the Roadster comes out there and the Cybertruck, they're going to have these batteries in them. I don't know that they're going to have finished tweaking the chemistry, but
Right.
they'll definitely have those in the vehicles, and they will be um, part of the structure of the floor, basically. So they had a bunch of other stuff about making batteries easier, and the dry electrolyte was pretty cool, but probably also went by a lot of people. So they took the big tens of meters long dryer and they made it like 5 meters long. It's not quite like a printing press. It's kind of a cross, or it looks like a cross between a 3D printer and a printing press.
This
So,
is the thing that manufactures the batteries.
yep, thing that takes the electrolyte and puts it on the aluminum foil.
Wow.
So instead of putting it on big long strips and then having to run it through a dryer that is really long and takes a lot of power, and
Right.
then you take all the fumes and condense it back into electrolyte or into what do they use to dissolve the stuff? I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, instead of doing all of that stuff, they just put the powder directly into a process with a polymer and put it directly
Wow.
onto film.
Wow. Yeah. So like the powder that they use for metal
Mm-hmm.
printing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Now they kind of
Wow.
glossed over the details with the polymer stuff, but I mean, again, they didn't want to give everything away.
Yeah.
What else? Um, the 3 terawatt hours by 2030. their whole battery plant now does 0.15 terawatts. And they're talking about scaling up to 3 terawatts in the next 10 years. So that's fairly substantial.
That's the output per year?
Yeah, they want to do 3 terawatts per year in 2030.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's or terawatt hours, I guess.
And how credible?
If you look back at what Elon has promised to do,
yeah,
he has never met a timeline. So he's missed badly with the self-driving, but he underestimated it.
right.
But they were faster on the Model Y, and they were faster on the Model X.
Yep.
So whatever he said he's going to do, I mean, the $35,000 Model 3 was technically there for a little bit, but they did everything they could to convince people to pay an extra $2,000 and get a whole bunch more.
Right.
But they did sell $35,000 Model 3s. So if he says he's going to do it, I'm going to believe that he's going to do it.
Yep.
Well, it'd be 10 years. No, it might be 12, might be 15, but
right.
It's coming.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, did they talk about and is this an issue, the safety with the battery in a crash? So right now, is the battery somehow insulated from being hit?
And
is it
big armor plate on the bottom of it, and I think they kept that. Do you remember the titanium plate that they added to the Model S after there was a couple of battery fires with hitting stuff on the road?
Oh, okay.
So
right.
They didn't talk about it, so I'm assuming it's still there. They also have a fire retardant, so they have a glue that is structural, sticks the metal together, is fire retardant, and also transfers the heat from the batteries well. It's one heck of a glue.
Yeah. So that's do you know the Japanese game Go?
Yep.
So in that game, you pretty much, if you're good, you have to do more than one thing with the move.
Yeah.
So if you don't do multiple things with a move, then you lose. So
you lose to someone who knows what they're doing, eh?
Yeah. Right. But that sounds like what they're doing is they're saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're like the battery case isn't just the battery case; it's also structural.
Yeah.
The glue isn't just the glue; it's also like a heat transfer medium, and it's also a fire retardant. So yeah, I guess they're doing multiple things with pieces.
Another thing is, though, battery replacement. Does that mean battery replacement doesn't exist?
It's still attached to the rest of the car. I don't think it would be nearly as easy as replacing the Model 3 battery. The Model 3 battery takes about half a day. If you watch, what the heck is his name?
That modder guy.
The Tesla modder.
Yeah, right.
Who used to be the car guru, and then he got sued by Car Guru. Anyway, I think, yes, you can change the battery, but no, you probably won't, unless the battery is so good when you're tired of the car that you demolish the car and keep the battery and put it in the next one.
Oh, is it possible that it'll be that last longer than the car?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Like he's talking about design life of 1 million miles for the rest of the car.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was an earlier announcement with the battery.
Yeah, the 1 million mile battery isn't really an announcement. They pretty much have that now. Like a 500-mile battery, they have, or they're saying they have, and 2,000 cycles is actually pretty pessimistic on the battery cycles. They've got Teslas with 500,000 miles on them.
Wow.
And like that have been used as taxis or as what are they called?
Incredible. Okay.
Limousines.
So I wonder if Tesla is spiking.
No, they actually went down.
Yeah,
They
well,
went
everybody went down, and the analysts are
down,
always wrong about Tesla, so the analysts will be scoffing
well, they
probably.
went down because they didn't say anything about the million-mile battery, and
Yeah.
all of their announcements weren't this quarter. They all were for, well, it's going to be 18 months or 3 years or
Oh,
10 years.
cool. Good. Good.
That's, that's
Maybe if it
how
gets driven
North
down a bit.
Americans think.
What's that?
That's not how North American investors think. They think, what's happening
Right.
this quarter, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No. No. But a good to just buy and hold.
Yeah. Um, a lot of Elon's uh, money or his stock options don't come about until he grows the company by like another 100% or another 200%.
Wow.
So Elon has motivation,
Right.
and I expect that in, let's say, up by, well, let's say, what is it, 30 billion now? 40 billion? I can't remember what it is. I would say if you multiply by 4 in 10 years, and I'm being fairly pessimistic, I think it's
Yeah.
kind of like getting in on Apple in the early days.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
After
Anyways,
they
that,
proved
that's
that they're actually a company, and before they started going nuts with the stock options.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's very interesting and encouraging. Good news. The other good news here, okay, I'm going to talk about is there's an atmospheric river dumping rain here and all down the west coast, which is extinguishing all the fires. The meteorologist said like a fire hose.
Woohoo!
So this is like an incredible miracle because we couldn't go outside 2 weeks ago. It was hazardous.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is, in the order of a miracle. It's like so lucky
Oh.
because that was doubly, triply miserable to be here and not to be able to go out.
Mm-hmm. Not to be able to breathe.
Yep. So I'm going to be grateful for that, thankful for that, while I sit alone at Thanksgiving.
Oh, you said, oh, is your son leaving then, or what's he doing?
um, don't know yet for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, you said you sounded pretty certain you were going to be alone at Thanksgiving. That's why
Oh,
I was surprised.
well, I'm talking about my household will be alone at
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
oh,
We
okay,
won't be having guests.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Anything you want to talk off recording?
No,
Okay.
no, everything's pretty stable here. How are you doing?
Um, there is lots of stuff to get used to. How they do the schools, how they do hockey, how they do basketball. It's all kind of goofy. Everybody
Right.
interprets the rules differently. Oh, you can
Yep.
only have 30 people. Does that include the team or not include the team?
Right.
They they tried hockey practice with the masks on once. That didn't work very well. Okay, we're gonna give an exemption for the guys that are actually on the ice.
Right. Yeah, I noticed them doing that on
So
professional leagues,
yeah,
figuring it. And are you like working or what's the deal with your work?
yeah, I'm working from home. Well, about 3 days a week, and then 1 day a week I'm going to site. So my driving is considerably down from what it used to be.
Oh,
Using
so
a
you
lot.
have on site once a week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good to know.
So I'm
Or interesting.
25. Well, not quite 25% of my driving. Sometimes I'm on site twice a week, but not very often. So
Okay, all right, really good to talk. Looking forward to the next one and hopefully I get some of this stuff done.
yep, me too. Um,
Okay, take care.
Okay, and we will get the recording stopped here.